There's a version of Claude that most people never reach, not because it's hidden behind a paywall, not because it requires technical skills, but because nobody ever showed them how to set it up properly. Today that changes. In the next 10 minutes, you're going to build what we call a Claude AI teammate, a customized version of Claude that knows your goals, understands your work style, and gives you consistently useful output instead of generic responses. This works whether you're managing a side hustle, trying to get ahead at your day job, or building a system to automate your personal finances, and you can have it set up in 10 minutes or less. Here's how it works. Claude is powerful out of the box, but Claude with context, with a clear understanding of who you are, what you're working on, and what kind of help you actually need, is an entirely different tool. That's what we're building today. Step 1. The Teammate Setup Prompt. This is the foundational message you send to Claude at the start of any working session. Think of it as a briefing you give a new team member on their first day. Here's the template. For this session, I want you to act as my dedicated AI teammate. Here's the context you need. I am your role: freelancer, professional, side hustler, and so on, focused on your main goal or project. My biggest priorities right now are list 2 or 3 priorities. My working style preference is brief and direct, or thorough and detailed, or bullet points, or narrative. Things I want you to always do. List your preferences. For example, flag assumptions. Ask clarifying questions. Give me options rather than one answer. Things I want you to avoid. For example, generic advice, lengthy disclaimers, overly cautious language when I'm asking for direct input. Are you ready to work? Claude confirms the briefing, restates your priorities in its own words, which tells you immediately if it understood, and signals it's ready to work. From this point forward, every response in the session is filtered through your context. Step 2. Build your task queue. Once your teammate is briefed, the most effective way to work is to give it a structured task queue rather than one-off questions. Here's the prompt. Here is my task list for today. List your tasks. For each task, I want you to either complete it directly, if it's a writing or analysis task. Give me a step-by-step plan if it's a project task, or ask me one clarifying question if you need more information before proceeding. Work through the list in order and flag anything where my priorities from our setup might be relevant. What you're watching is a properly briefed Claude teammate moving through real work, drafting, planning, flagging conflicts, asking smart questions. This is the difference between using Claude as a search engine and using it as an actual collaborator. Step 3. The Finance Teammate Variation. If you want Claude specifically focused on your personal finances or side hustle income, here's a specialized setup prompt. For this session, act as my personal finance and side hustle advisor. My current financial situation, monthly take-home is approximately X. Fixed expenses are X, and I'm currently working towards specific financial goal. My side hustle generates approximately X per month, and my biggest bottleneck is describe it. I want your advice to be specific, practical, and based on my actual numbers, not generic financial tips. Always tell me if a suggestion requires professional financial advice beyond what you can provide. Ready? Now you have a finance-focused teammate who knows your numbers, your goals, and your constraints. Every conversation in this session is grounded in your reality, not a hypothetical example built for someone else. Step 4. Save your setup prompts. This is the step most people skip and then wonder why Claude feels inconsistent. Build a simple document in Notion, Google Docs, or even Apple Notes with 2 or 3 saved teammate setup prompts for your most common use cases. One for finances, one for your side hustle work, one for your day job if relevant. At the start of any Claude session, you open this document, copy the relevant setup prompt, paste it in, and your AI teammate is briefed and ready in under 30 seconds. This one habit will make your Claude experience dramatically more consistent and useful. Once your teammate is set up, here's a short list of what it can handle in a single session: drafting client emails, building a budget, planning a content calendar, researching your competitors, writing a project proposal, analyzing your expenses, generating ideas, and reviewing your work with specific feedback criteria. All of it in one session, with context that makes every output relevant to you specifically. The Claude AI Teammate Workflow Guide in the description is completely free, no purchase required. Download it, save your setup prompts, and make this a daily habit. If this was useful, subscribe. New Claude prompts and workflow systems every week. The next video is already on screen. 10 minutes, one setup, a Claude teammate that actually knows what you're working on. Let's get to work.